Hello everyone, it's me Kallum, and today we'll be taking a look at the first half of Season 50. We'll be looking at the story, seasonal gameplay, PvE meta, and PvP sandbox. Then we'll take a short look at the coming future. Before we start, sorry for being gone for so long. My PC today totally not annoying whoopsie and died for the few months, and now that's all fixed up, so back in uploading, but I'll keep that stuff to the end of the video, just need to get this out first. But with that out of the way, let's look back at the first part of Season of the Lost. Let's begin with the seasonal story. The story of the season revolved around Queen Mara of the Awoken, Crow, and Osiris, aka Savathun, the Queen of Deception. The main driving force was building up the plot for the next annual expansion, The Witch Queen, which revolves around Savathun, who no longer is bound to the darkness, obtaining the light for our army of 5 to use, turning him into the Lucent Brood. We then fight them in Savathun's throne world. Giving a prequel to this plot was the main intention of this season, and without sounding like a lore nerd, I'll give my thoughts on it too. The actualization of the community theory that Osiris was actually Savathun in such a grandiose way was definitely a great method to set up the stakes by the very first mission of the season. Seeing the story build up week over week is something I personally have come to enjoy since Season of the Chosen. The cliffhanger was also a smart way to allow the seasonal events like Festival of the Lost to occur without interfering with the story that was being actively told. My biggest gripe with the storytelling this season was the complete and utter lack of involvement of our Guardian, especially for our best homie, Crow, who regained his memories from his time as Aldrinsov, brother of Queen Mara. While I know why it was like that, being a live service game and all, I believe the storytelling should accommodate for this flaw, rather than exacerbating it to this extent. Overall, this was a great story that I'm extremely excited to see the conclusion of in The Witch Queen. Now, moving on from the story, let's see what's facilitated it, because without the gameplay, we wouldn't have a game to speak of. The two activities we got this season was the 6-player Astral Alignment and the 1 to 3 player Shattered Ground. Let's start with Astral Alignment as it's the easier of the two to explain. If I had to describe Astral Alignment in one sentence, which I'm going to call AA from now on so I don't mispronounce it and mess up the recording, would be Menagerie Light but with worse loot structure. Reason being that both are 6-player activities with challenges you need to complete in a generally timely manner, to fill up a progress bar, face a boss, and in the end open a chest. The main difference being that opening the chest in Menagerie would give you a reward that most of the time would be something you've chosen, while in AA, you get one world drop chest and another chest for which you had to buy a chance at a random piece of seasonal gear, armor included. So there's a good chance you'll get a 46 stat total helmet that is 2 levels below your current one. This kind of hurt the mode itself, because not having any real loot structure to play for it kind of killed it off after the story quest requirement ended. The master difficulty, which was added a few weeks later, also did not solve this, as you would need to find 5 other people, and instead of doing a more rewarding raid, you need to run the same activity you'd run for the last few weeks, but with a few more chests at the end, which you still needed to pay for. I ran once with some friends, got the Agar Scepter Catalyst, which we'll get to in a minute, and never touched it again, simply because there wasn't a need to. I believe that the community made its cries heard loud enough to where this should not be a problem with the coming seasonal activities. The other side of the coin is Shattered Ground. The goal in this activity is to save a lost awoken tech witch, which is needed in the story itself to separate Savathun from her hive worm. It is a very straightforward structure which comes in 3 flavors, all based on existing planets in Destiny Universe: the Moon, the EDZ, and the Tangled Shore. It was definitely convoluted in the first weeks as we didn't have any of the exploration upgrades, which made it much more fun in later weeks where you could breeze through them in minutes and find secrets you weren't able to before. Speaking of secrets, Shattered Realm was chock full of them, meaning an average one would net you around 1 to 3 pieces of seasonal gear at no cost whatsoever. While Shattered Realm lacked the replayability that Astral Alignment had, it was still a fun way to tell the seasonal story and give players the similar mission feeling like Whisper and Zero Hour. Now that's all for the seasonal gameplay loop, but we can end the discussion on the seasonal gameplay without current season's exotic, Agar's Scepter. The Agar's Scepter quest was a multi-week fetch quest in which we had to find anchors that were hidden in the Dreaming City with nothing but a small description of the location. So you could either spend 2 hours looking for it, or just follow a guide and do it in 2 minutes. As for the gun itself, it's the best trash rifle we've ever gotten, becoming endgame viable on stasis subclasses for both the Hunter and the Warlock. Not as much as for the Titan, but that's something generally more to do with Behemoth as itself. I definitely like Bungie breaking the energy only rule for some weapon types, especially now that stasis is a weapon element. So hopefully we can soon have a kinetic legendary fusion rifle and don't have to use Bastion. Agar's Chapter will 100% be a PvE mainstay like Witherhoard for the foreseeable future, and I'm excited to use it on the day 1 Witch Queen raid. We're done with the player versus environment this season, so let's conclude with the player versus player. Crucible this season was the best and the worst it has ever been. On one hand, this is probably one of the best metas we've had, as every gun was viable. On the other, stasis went out of control again, especially with the Hunter's Shatter Dive ability. Big surprise there. This was also the season where I decided to get good in PvP. Relatively speaking, I mean, 1.09 KD isn't to brag about, but for me that was a lot. But let's start with the positives first. Shotguns were reined in and made much more skillful overall. Combined with a 15% extra shotgun spread while sliding, made successful slide shotgunning much less common and required to be closer and more on point, which allowed for more counterplay. Fusion rifles also got reworked across the board, making almost all archetypes much more effective in PvP, except the high impact, so rest in peace you old kings. This, combined with Xur selling a god roll main ingredient multiple times every week, helped make fusions the most effective that they've probably ever been, to the dismay of many a shotgun ape. Deadman's Steel also got a range nerf, helping many other primaries shine more. This is the high impact pulse rifles, especially the messenger from Trials of Osiris, which you get the Desperado perk, where on a precision kill, it turned the 340 rounds per minute into a spray and pray deletion tool of 600 RPM. Other primary type benefiting from the DMT and shotgun nerfs was the SMGs overall. Terror from the Monument of Lost Lights, Multi-Max CCX from Iron Banner, and Shariah's Wrath from Trials of Osiris, as their optimal ranges too of 8 to 25 meters was much as attacked by both these guns to the point where I now main them in PvP to great success. Snipers were untouched, and while still being impressive in the right hands, they're a far cry from how bad they were back in Season 11, where it felt like we were in a red flashlight disco. Grey Launchers also got a variety of PvP nerfs that seem to have put them in a place where complaints about them have gotten relatively scarce. Dune Marches also reached the peak of their bugginess to the point where it would kill people who had more than half their health. But that's getting fixed soon, so hey, Titans, have fun, I guess. But we can't end a PvP section without mentioning the menace of the Crucible this season, Vex Mythoclast. Being buffed after its lackluster release in Season of the Splicer, this gun immediately rose to the top. Like, it feels like Bungie just thought, the number of players who are playing VoG is too low. What do we do? Make the gun too overpowered. It wrecked TDE, which I didn't mention earlier because I don't like the gun, and I don't have it, in case you couldn't tell, and I'm not going to include it in the PvE section, so now here it is at the end of the PvP section. But so they buffed it from 360 RPM to 390, gave a cracked out Callus that had Rampage and Zen Moment for some reason, and then they gave it a Russian certified aimbot linear fusion rifle mode that basically could map you as well as kill you very fast. It was at the time, it was probably a few days after uploading, it was an overpowered paint in 6v6, and an S tier, you basically need this option in Trials of Osiris, but it was slightly weaker there as the aimbot mode required 3 kills I believe, which you couldn't easily get in Trials without winning the round. But it was fun to have it be that strong, gave probably a lot of D1 veterans PTSD, but that's getting nerfed, and I'm glad about it, as I said. That was basically a full recap of the PvP this season. I've probably left some stuff out, so feel free to remind me in the comments below. But with that out of the way, let's take one last look forward, and then we're done with the review. So in a few days, we'll be playing the new Dares of Eternity 6-player activity, which is free for everyone, don't forget that. And and the new dungeon, which I've forgotten the name of right now. This is a bit off script. I like to talk more off script more, but the whole video was scripted for those unaware. And the dungeon will have guns like Eyes Luna, 1000 Stare, and maybe Matter 64. One of the best shotguns in PvP. Maybe. I mean, it's a lower screenshot, but it would be funny. I think I'm very excited for it. Just overall for PvP. For PvE, Gallahorn, at least we won't be using fusion rifles for, like, I'm tired of it. I have no plan all this time, which I'm sorry about. Like, I'm gonna get to that in a second. I have no plan all this time, and in that time, I've only been able to use fusion rifles in raids, and it's getting boring. Like, really boring at this point. I even got Divinity, which I'm gonna show a clip of now. Okay, that should be it.
Divinity!
But yeah, now, I'm excited for all of it. And if some little birds who came by said it's true, we're getting some PvP content, maybe? And I'll be honest, I'm playing more PvP nowadays. Like, PvE has... I like PvE, I'm probably gonna play it more, but it's definitely gone on the lower side. Like, I'll come home from school, and I'll play so much PvP, I'll forget PvE even exists a bit. I didn't think I'd go that far, like a year ago when I started uploading Destiny, and it's almost been a year now. No, over a year. So I'll probably, do that more, but yeah, now they're moving on. The future of my channel, I fixed the problems I said, I can edit easier more now. I am playing on PlayStation now, for those who haven't noticed, but the change in FOV and FPS and all that, but it's more consistent and I can record much easier without worrying about crashes, lags, sudden freezes, my CPU not wanting to work with me. It doesn't like Destiny 2, to be honest. It just generally doesn't like modern games. Even Halo has started lagging more per update. I've got the DLC, I'll cover that. I plan on reviewing the dungeon in a much better manner, in a much better script rather than this one. Like, I might even just freestyle that one. So I can better convey who I am as a person and want to be as a YouTuber by just freestyling it. But without taking too much more of your time, because oh god, that's a 6-minute recording alone. Weekly uploads are gonna happen. What are they gonna be? I can tell you right now. First of all, I'm recording on Sunday, so that's this week's upload. Next week on Tuesday. Oh no, Tuesday's late. Wednesday, I have school the next day. Wednesday will be a dungeon review. I'll freestyle that. I'll make some notes. I'll freestyle it. I'll tell you how it is. If you play, if you want to know if it's good and if you should buy it, I'll give you that as a verdict. Then, if I get good Eyes Luna, if I get like that, I hope Eye of the Storm, opening shot, or rangefinder. If that's on the gun, that'd be dope. But if that can get that kind of Eyes Luna, I'll make a review of that. I plan on doing some random PvP stuff, probably mainly PvP. I'll try to dip into PvE more often, as it's easier to make content for that, as I can't get screwed over by sweaty players. But that's it. That's the future of the channel, which is why, leave a sub. I promise not to disappoint you. Slurring about not uploading for like 3 months, I'm pretty pissed about that myself personally. Yeah, it was mainly just not life itself. It was just me hitting a wall where I just couldn't feel like I could do anything. But the good news is, like, my PvP skill is overall game skill has increased heavily since then. So I hope to bring you great content, great stuff for your eyes to have a viewing pleasure. But with that was all. And this was Kallum signing out.